All right. Good morning, guys. Glad you guys got up early. Talk a little ball with us this morning. I was telling Justin, man, 8:30, man. I didn't even take an 8 o'clock class in college. Just, I'm not a morning guy, but to get up and talk some ball with you guys, I love it. So won't keep long with the introduction stuff, but I really appreciate Justin just reaching out to me to do this. Just him even think about me as one of these guys is speaking amongst these list of people that he's had so far is an absolute honor. So I get rolling. I'm trying to get this stuff knocked out in an hour for you. I know I got like an hour and a half, but I'm trying to get it done in an hour for you. 2 little quick sessions. So, the topic is building wide receivers from the ground up to fit your offense. One of the most overlooked positions, I think, in clinics everywhere is wide receivers. I can remember going to Glazier for, this was my 17th year going. I've been fortunate enough to speak the last 2, but in all those years prior sitting out there, I was waiting for somebody to present on wide receivers, and it was rare. They would always have quarterback play. They would always have defensive back play. They always have offensive line play, but it was rare that they had any wide receiver stuff. So the last 2 years I've been fortunate enough to speak, and then this, what Justin got rolling here is great. So been a lot of great speakers here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Tell you a little bit about me. I'm a graduate of Triton High School in Irwin, North Carolina. Graduated from there in 1997. I was fortunate enough to be able to play ball at Fayetteville State University from 97 to 2001. I went straight into education after college. I was at Denby High School. I was wide receiver coach, defensive back coach there from 01 to 04. I moved on from there had a little gap. I had custody of my son, so I had to get him rolling with school. Took a little gap there. I was at Bethel High School from 2008 to 2013. Over that time period, I was quarterback coach, the wide receiver coach, the defensive back coach, and the defensive coordinator. After that, I left. I went on to Heritage High School, where I was the wide receiver coach and defensive back coach and passing game coordinator. And from there, I moved on to the apprentice school, 2016. I coached running backs the first year. The next 2 years, I was the wide receiver coach and recruiting coordinator. From there, I moved on and went to be a full-time dad this past season. Went to go watch my son, who was a redshirt freshman at Howard University. It was a good thing to change perspective and be able to sit in the stands and boo people like they done me for the last 17 years. So it was a good opportunity to actually do that and get to see my son. All right, so just a little bit about the apprentice school. Anytime I speak, I always, speak highly of them because that was a great opportunity. And Coach Davis is a great guy, man. And if you have any of those kids that play for you, the trade kids, they're hands-on kids, they're good in math and science, that's a perfect spot for them. Those guys, they get paid, they learn a trade, and they have an opportunity to earn a degree while not paying $1 for college. And that's always the goal as a high school coach. Is to send your guys off to college for as low cost as possible, mainly free, but as low a cost as possible. So, those freshman guys that come in this year, they'll make $18.87 an hour. They get a raise every 6 months for the first 2 years. They get a raise every 90 days for the first 2 years. After that, it's every 6 months. They'll cap out at $29.73 an hour. They got real life benefits, health insurance, life insurance, paid holidays, paid vacation, 401k. The company matches at 4%. That's one of the highest around. Education and tuition and fees and books, all that stuff is covered. So it's a great opportunity. And, all those guys on Twitter, and you can even reach out to me and I can pass your stuff along to them. All right, so without any further ado, we go ahead and get started. So this part, I use this slide, says wide receivers are not born, they are developed. And the perfect picture to me is Julian Edelman. Everybody knows the story. College quarterback, came to the NFL and has turned into one of the better receivers in the league, if not the best inside receiver in the league right now. And if you ever watch him, if you ever look at any of his film, or you get a chance after this and you go back and look at him, you'll notice that there's some things that he does as a receiver that's kind of, I guess I can, kind of awkward. He's not really a hands catcher. He catches a lot of balls with his body, but he's really good at finding holes and getting open, and beating his matchup. So that comes from the work that he put in as a professional. It's the work he put in as a football player, and the time that his coaches worked with him on development. And that's something that he's turned into an absolute animal with. All right, so the next part, the traits that you look for when you're trying to identify a wide receiver. Everybody has certain things they look for, and it's kind of catered to whatever your offense is and whatever you do at your school. But for me, it requires zero talent to play as hard as possible, as you possibly can every play. I would not coach effort. If I have to coach effort, I'm going to go find someone else. That doesn't matter if I was a high school coach or at the college level. If I have to coach you to play hard, or I have to pump you up to play hard, you're probably not the guy that I want. I don't want a guy that's reckless, but I want a guy who's tough and who doesn't mind sticking his head in, getting the job done, along with some other things which are listed here. Want guys who are athletic, guys who have game speed, not always necessarily straight line 40 speed. And everybody uses Jerry Rice as that example. He probably ran 4.7 into his route, but getting out of his break, he was 4.3, 4.4 easily. So you want those type of guys. You want guys with good football IQ, guys that can adjust on the move, who can read coverages, things like that we'll get into later. Competitive toughness. I know every Tuesday with me, I always had Tough Tuesday. I did something competitive, something tough, something one-on-one where the guys had to get after each other and exhibit that toughness that I was trying to develop or that they already had. Footwork, route running, of course, those are things, you're going to teach, but you want them to have that ability to pick it up. Releases, that comes along with the footwork, separation quickness, hand-eye coordination, body control, and ability to run with the ball. Those are some of the things that you look for, and you kind of separate guys into their positions based on those things. All right, types of wide receivers for your offense. This is different based on where you're coaching at, your coaching style, how long you've been coaching, and what you adapt your system to. So the types of receivers, again, just this is my warning label that I give. I didn't put the laces on the ball, so I don't know everything. It's a lot of you guys that probably know more than I do. All I can give you is best practices for me, things that I see that'll work for me over the time. There's more than one way to skin a cat, so whatever you see on here is not necessarily the only way of doing things. There's plenty of ways that you can get this stuff done. This is not the holy grail of the position labeling. Again, plenty of ways. Some offensive systems use numbers. Some guys use 9-5-2. I know the go-go offense is very popular with Coach Marion. My son was fortunate enough to be recruited and signed by that staff and got a year on his belt with them. And they label their position as 9-5-2, with the 9 being the X, the 5 being what most people call the Y, and the 2 being what people call the Z. Some systems have used letters. I've been around A, B, C, D. The A being the X, the B and C being the H and the F, and the D being what people know as the Z. And then some people still use, split end, flanker, and slot, which is nothing but the X, Y, and Z. So you can label that stuff any kind of way. There's no right or wrong way, but those are just a few of the ways that you can do it. All right, so we'll talk about the X position a little bit. And again, this is kind of a developmental portion of the clinic. Just, helping you develop your ways and your schemes of building your guys up for you. All right, so first thing, the X, traits and qualities of the X receiver. This guy usually lines up opposite the tight end on the line of scrimmage. Usually the best receiver on the team at winning versus single coverage, one-on-ones. And just going back, that's the reason why I have Julio and I have AJ and I have Thomas up here. These guys, These are the prototypical X receivers, what people generally look for with those guys, and they exhibit all those abilities. These are your guys who you can put backside and one-on-one, and they usually win. Tall, fast, and strong. They draw double coverage, and they're usually a red zone threat. These guys usually want to throw your jump ball too, unless you have a tight end who, gets it done a little better. Your Z receiver, got these guys here. Diggs and Allen are probably two of the top route runners in the NFL. But these guys, that's generally what they do best. Usually line up opposite the tight end off the line of scrimmage, the ability to attack the field vertically. Typically, shorter and thicker guys, which those two guys go against the grain with that because they're fairly thin. Got to be good blockers because a lot of times they're on play side when it's run game time. Can be set in motion and also runs route combinations with the tight end. All right, so moving to your F, your H, and your S, depending on what you call it. Again, you can call it whatever you want to. It doesn't change anything. But these guys here, three of you better, Edelman, Cooper Kupp, and Cole Beasley. Those guys really get it done on the inside. They got this thing figured out. Some of the traits and qualities you have with those guys, they line up inside of the X receiver off the line of scrimmage. Typically short, thicker guys, and they're extremely tough. These guys are usually getting it done and controlling the hash along with your tight end. They can be set in motion. They need to have toughness and the savvy to work across the middle and find holes in coverage and the ability to run after the catch. So these are you guys who are closer to, I wouldn't say your running back types, but they're pretty good at being ball carriers. All right, your Y, your H, your tight end, or your H-back, whatever you call them again in your offense, really doesn't matter. These guys here, again, three of the best in the league, and they are the top in doing what they do. Typically lines up inside of the Z receiver on the line of scrimmage. Taller, thick, and extension of the offensive line. These guys usually can get it done in the run game as far as blocking. Are they going to get it done like a tackle would? No, they're not, but they're able to hold their own. I can be stepped off the line of scrimmage and set in motion. It's got to be flexed out into a stand-up wide receiver. Especially these are the athletic guys, you get in high school. Sometimes they're maybe 6'3", 6'4". They could be 6'1", 6'2" if they're, that 200, 210, maybe 190, 195 range, and they're fairly athletic. These are you guys who think they're basketball players and end up being power forwards, and that's 6'2". Need to have toughness, savvy to block defensive linemen, and finesse enough to work across the middle and find the holes in coverage. Should be a security blanket for the quarterback. This is usually your red zone third down guys. That first down machine and red zone threat. So these are you guys that you look in those areas to get the ball to. All right, so most guys here are educators, so y'all may be familiar with this quote. I like it. It says, begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind means to begin each day, task, or project with a clear vision of your desired direction and destination, and then continue by flexing your proactive muscles to make things happen. So with this, you're just trying to plan with the end in mind. What is the end outcome that I want to have with my guys individually and as a group? Collectively, what is our goal? So you want to get that planned up before you ever start taking steps in developing your guys. All right, so teaching progressions. The first thing you have to do, again, we all in education, so you have to learn your learners. Everybody's not going to learn the same. You got those guys that you can talk to and they can stare you in your face and give you the thumbs up, and they'll go do the exact opposite of what you told them. You got those guys that look like they won't pay attention. They're digging in the bag. They got their head down. They're beating the pencil. You ask them something back, and they can tell you everything you said. And you got some guys that need to get out and actually do it. So I started giving my guys the back test, the visual, auditory, kinesthetic test, just to kind of learn how they learn best. Are they guys that need to be up, moving around? Are they guys that can sit down in a meeting room for 30, 45 minutes? Are they guys that I know going to fall asleep or not learn or retain anything in that time? So sitting in the meeting room is not going to be conducive or productive to every one of your guys' learning styles. Again, at the high school level, you're dealing with 504s and IEPs and a lot of other things. So, just sitting and listening to you talk is not going to work for everybody. Flip meetings. Flip meetings is something that, kind of mess around with, where you give the guys the information. They come in the next day, hey, man, you got to teach me. You need to teach me what tray left, zap, depot looks like. You need to draw it up for me. You need to tell me, everybody's assignments. Maybe not the blocking scheme, but, what's the route combination? What kind of drop is the quarterback taking? Where the back's blocking at? Because they need to know that stuff also. Weekly, personal whiteboards. Personal whiteboards is another one. I went and did at Home Depot. You can get that shower backer, the shower board. You can get them to cut it. Get them cut it up. And you sit in the meeting, and as you go through stuff, toward the end before you get to hit the field, just ask those guys, hey man, real quick, draw up rails for me, draw up 92 X shallow, draw up whatever, and just to see what those guys know and what they can retain. Weekly formation and plays test. I know when I was in high school, when those guys got the game plan, you had to turn that game plan. Well, for me, on Mondays, you had to turn in your progress report from the prior week in order to get that game plan. Once you got that game plan on Thursday, if we played on Friday, because up here we play on Saturday sometimes at high school level. If we played Friday, you had your test on Thursday. If you played Saturday, you had to test on Friday, just to make sure that those guys picked up, what the plan is for this week.
Coach, got a question here for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you recruit for specific positions or recruit wide receivers and then determine where they fit in once they get on campus?
I'm going to take the best available guy. I can figure out what I'm going to do with you from there. Again, what we've done offensively, I don't have to have a X that's 6'4", 6'5". I don't have to have a Z who's 4'3". I don't need a Y that's 6'5", 6'6". I'm gonna take the best available guy, and we'll figure out what he can do from there. Did that answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So this one of the things I learned as an educator, as well as a coach. Whenever you take something from one person, it's called stealing, but whenever you see it multiple times, it's called research. So this, I guess what I could say was some research. I got this from Coach Kelly. I didn't get it from him personally, but I saw it and I was interested in it, so I started to try to tinker with it a little bit and see. Coach Kelly, that was the defensive back coach. I think he's still at he was at Alabama and at Florida State. And again, when you got those guys who have the IEPs and the 504s and all kind of behavior plans and things, this really works great for them. So the teaching progression, you're going to see things at least 7 times. You got an install meeting. So, you hand them the paper. Okay, so this, today we're going to put in curl flat. We're putting in curl flat. So, they should see the draw up of it. Okay, this is you. This is what 12 yard looks like. I need you to come back, work back to the ball. Okay, you got the 4-step quick out. I need you to, plant your inside foot at 4 roll to 6. This is what it looks like. Then I showed them the video clip of it. Maybe seeing it from the previous season. Okay, this is what curl flat looks like. Even if I can find an NFL team that ran it or a college team that ran it, this is what curl flat looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. This will be you. This is you. This is you. This is what you have. Then at practice, walk through, pre-practice. Some guys are lucky enough to have pre-practice time. A few of them are not. I know we were fortunate enough that we pretty much, because of our kids' work schedule, we almost ran the closest thing to a high school that you would actually find with the high school model as far as practice went. So at pre-practice, walk through at pre-practice. You got those guys out there. Okay, hey, man, this is your split. I need you, top of the numbers. I need you +2 on the hash. Backside, you're splitting the hash and the top of the numbers. Whatever, okay? Walking through their routes. Okay, this is you. This is you. This is you. This team may play a 4-4. Okay, this guy here is going to run to the flats immediately. This is the hook curl guy. You want to find the hole here. You want to walk it to them, let them see it. When you get the indie period, if you're lucky and fortunate enough to have indie period, and your time is going to be dictated based on what style of offense you have. If you're an offense that runs the ball, you're run heavy, you're probably going to spend more of your time on blocking in indie than you will on catching balls, which we'll get to that stuff later. But teach it during indie period. Hey, man, okay, we're going to work on the curl route. Okay, this is top of the numbers. This is 12 yards. I need you to work back here, find the hole versus zone, sit here versus man. I need you to work straight back down your stem. However it's going to work for that week, teach it in the indie period. From there, in specific drills at practice, when you're going, routes on air or offensive scale and 7-on-7, you teach it there. Make sure, you're looking for the minor nuances, the finer things, make sure they're getting that stuff done. Perimeter run, as far as the blocking and one-on-one, if it's something, particularly you want to work on in there again. When you get the team period in practice, for the offensive coordinators who do the planning, and, you want to make sure those guys get ample opportunity to work on whatever that particular skill is. And then again, at post-practice at the end, if you have that time, or if you send it out on huddle at night, tell those guys, hey, you cut your practice clips up. If you're fortunate enough to be able to have it practice recorded, hey, man, look at clips 6, 12, 17, and 23. This is curl flat. Look at yourself on here. You didn't get your depth. You didn't work back to the ball. You rolled on your third step with your outside foot instead of your fourth step with your inside foot. Backside, hey, man, you got to win. I need you to get this release, whatever it is. And, I do correction sheets. So those guys are able to, grade themselves before I grade them, or during the same time. We can see why they think they got an A and why I think they got an F. So that was a good thing. Like I said, Coach Kelly did that. I have that actual sheet at the end. Any of this stuff that I have up here, man, that you guys want, you're more than welcome to it. Get your emails and I'll be glad to shoot it to you. All right, so one of the first things that we go through, and just this example of our teaching practices, is coverage recognition. All right, we teach quarterbacks and receivers the same exact way. So when we start teaching this stuff, I know at the high school level and at college level, whenever we talk coverage recognition, we talk those guys together because we need them to be on the same page and to see the same things. That kind of avoids Friday nights and Saturday afternoons, guys coming back and say, hey, man, I thought you had this. Well, hey, man, I saw this. We learn this stuff together. We know what it looks like together. Then, that avoids a lot of problems. All right, so when we're reading, we identify coverages from the top down. We tell the guys, hey, man, it's middle field open to close, meaning, middle field close, that's one safety high. That's usually odd coverage. Two safeties high, that's open middle of the field. Anytime the middle field's open, you got an even coverage somewhere. So then we start to look at the depth and the alignment of the guys. So are those safeties, are they wide? Usually if those safeties are wider than those outside backers, it's probably cover two because they're trying to get to those, they're trying to get to those sidelines, get over top of number one is what they're trying to do. Is those safeties in tight? Are they hugging those hashes? Okay, if they're hugging those hashes, or they where they at? Are they 10 to 12 yards? They're probably playing quarters because they're probably trying to get a read on number two. They want to see post snap movement. Those guys stemming. What are they? Are they stemming to get out wide? Are they trying to get back in tight to hug those hashes? Are they, do you got one that's rotating down to get into the box, into the run game? Those are the things that you want those kids to be able to see. And, any indicators that they can steal, or you as a coach can steal on film to say, hey, okay, when this guy does this, he's getting ready to roll down. He's going to become the flat defender. Hey, he's trying to get inside this box. Or, hey, man, he's trying to get outside because we got a cat corner that's coming. You want those guys to be able to recognize those things along with the quarterbacks. Then we look at the corners, the depth and alignment that those guys have. Are they 7 yards deep, one inside? Okay, they're probably cover three. Are they 5 yards or less? Are they outside leverage? Okay, they probably cover two because they're trying to funnel you inside. I always ask my guys, what kind of corner do you have? Is he a 0? Is he a 1 or a 2? And 0 means he's head up square on your body. A 1 means his outside foot is splitting your crotch, meaning he's inside leverage. He's either 2, which means his inside foot is splitting your crotch also, but he's outside of you, outside shaded, then you're probably getting cover 2 there because he's trying to funnel you inside. So, guys kind of play with leverage and coverages. Defensive back coaches, if any of you guys, if y'all do double duty, you might want to cover your ears here, but defensive back coaches have gotten a little smarter over the years. They figured out some things, some indicators and some keys that they really do a good job of teaching. So, we have to prepare for that stuff on the offensive side of the ball as well. Next, we look at the adjusters, who are the outside linebackers. What's the leverage? Are those guys, are they in tight? Because if they're in tight with those safeties outside of them, it goes back to what we said earlier. Those probably cover 2. Are those guys outside, they out a little wide? It's probably, cover 4. They're probably trying to get to that hook curl. Yes, sir, Jay.
Yeah, I got a question here for you, Coach. What is the best release you like versus press man?
Versus press man. Okay, so that's the next part I'm gonna get into with the session. But versus press man, it depends on what we saw in film. How does this guy play? Because you have some defensive backs who want to get down and be aggressive and lunge and punch and jab, and you have some of those guys who are off and want to shadow. To me, both as a player and even as a coach, the hardest ones were those guys who were not aggressive, but they wanted to shadow you. They wanted to get on top of you, and they give you the move to get a read. But with me, I try to teach the guys a couple releases. First release, if we got a guy who's heavy inside, like to punch with that inside hand to prevent you from going inside, we speed release. Get out, get outside, dip that inside shoulder, grab grass, get back on top of your alignment. Next thing we do, again, if we've got that guy who like to shadow, and it depends on, our releases are taught based on what route you have within and where you need to be at within that concept. So if you need to get inside, the first place I teach my guys I need you to step is inside, because usually those defensive backs are taught to give you that first move and react to the second one. So I tell my guys, step where you want to go first, because you're going to go ahead and get his reaction, and then you know how to combat off of that. Okay, what's up, Jay?
Got another one here. Just to kind of piggyback off that, do you like a rip technique or a chop when seeing that press?
I like rip, and like you said, a chop. I don't like swims, but I tell my guys our chop and our rip is quick, it's short and compact, and even with the swim, our swim is more of a punch, where those guys are grabbing elbow with one arm and they're punching through with the opposite arm. And I tell them, you're aiming to go through the face mask. When you get up higher than the face mask, you're exposing your underarm and your rib cage to a lot of abuse that you probably really don't want. Got that? That's covered?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, so coverages, these are the sheets that, I would give my guys to let them see what coverages look like. Also this is more quote unquote research / stealing, whatever you want to call it. You can find these things anywhere. I have them. Like I said, I'm more than happy to share these things with you guys. But these coaching points, you can develop these yourself on Microsoft Word, and you can change the wording around with the coaching points and the strengths and the weaknesses if you want. This is just a sample, and I just really like to see the guys where they're lined up at. So I would say, hey, okay, this is zero coverage right here. This is aggressive. Those guys are anytime you see zero, you gotta get open, because more than likely they're sending people. So we don't have time to skip, hop, jump in place and all these things to get your release. You gotta get going now. So I let them see this sheet. I explain to them when we're talking about it. I let them see a picture of it. Okay, this is what zero looks like. If you notice, all these guys are inside leverage, and they're looking directly into your face. They're not looking around and not looking at the quarterback. They're looking at you. That is the indicator that it is man. As far as zero, again, is there anybody in the middle of the field? No, zero. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. If there's nobody in the middle of the field and these guys are down looking you dead in your face, I don't care if they're 2 yards from you, 5 yards from you, or 8 yards from you. They're looking you dead in your face. They're not trying to read number 2. They're not looking at the quarterback. It's man. All right. And usually whatever team we're playing, I screenshot them. If they're in 0, I screenshot that and have that picture up here. This is just merely for teaching purposes. But I like those guys to be able to see what it looks like, again, with the quarterback, so they can, get the visual. Cover 1, same thing, middle of the field, open is closed. Coach is closed. Okay, good. This is what it looks like on here. Go through some of the coaching points, the strengths and weaknesses and recognition keys. This is what you need to see. Show them another picture of it. Okay, this is what cover 1 looks like. All right, those cornerbacks, the nickel, those guys are looking you in your face, and they're down. They're not looking in at the quarterback. They're not trying to get a read on 2 or 3 or anybody else. Then this is cover 1. They're in man, and you have a man free in the back of the field. So we automatically know that probably more than likely that ball is not going to the middle of the field. It's probably going outside, unless it's a crosser. Cover 2, here's what you got here. Those guys are in shallow. They may be, looking at the quarterback. They're outside leverage. Hey, man, this is cover 2. He's trying to funnel you into the safety with his eyes on number 2, whether number 2 is the slot, the tight end, or the back in the backfield. He's looking at 2, trying to get a read. If there's no 2, he's going to sink to get up under you. You got mandatory outside release. We told those guys all the time, cover 2, you automatically got mandatory outside release. And we'll talk about some of those release types a little bit later. This is what cover 2 looks like. You see those safeties, they're out wider than those backers. That means, hey, they're trying to get out here to get these sidelines covered. Make sure they get over top of number 1. Cover 3, and again, just going through these guys. I know you guys recognize coverage. I'm just giving you the way that we go through it. You got your free, middle of the field is closed. Those cornerbacks are usually probably 7 and 1. They're probably looking at the backfield. They're trying to get to their third. Here's what it looks like. Okay, that's all we're showing those guys. This guy's he's the dropper. He's trying to get to the flats. He's trying to get the hook curl. He's trying to get hook curl. This guy's sinking. He has a third. Cover 4, same thing. Middle field open. These guys are probably again 7 and 1. Some of those guys will try to fool you and line up a little closer, and then open and bail. Again, we show them what it looks like whenever we're playing E.E. Smith, or whenever we're playing 71st for UJ, or whenever we're playing, Ferrum, or we're playing Randolph-Macon. This is what it looks like when those guys are in cover 4. This is what it looks like. This is their alignments. This is where they're trying to get to. Show them a snapshot. Okay, this is what it looks like. Let those guys see the leverages. Let those guys see the alignments, so you can coach them up from there. This split field coverages. This is where you got, some people call it whatever. Again, the coverages, the name doesn't matter. The teaching does. Whatever you're teaching your guys, the verbiage has to be the same across the board. So, 4 to the field, 2 to the boundary. We're showing those guys, hey, this is what they're trying to do here. They're trying to get here. You probably got some action coming here. This is what it looks like. You got your cover 2 corner here, outside leverage, looking to funnel you inside. Got your cover 4 corner who's off, getting a read. Gary take his bail, take his drop. All right, so the next part of developing, after I get this teaching and install done, now I start looking at the variables that I have to what I'm gonna be teaching. Okay, so how do I determine where I spend my time? All right, so first thing you have to do is evaluate your offensive scheme and ask yourself 2 very important questions. What are we in the passing game? Okay, what do we do? Are we a quick game? Are we RPO? Are we drop back, play action, West Coast? What are we in the passing game? Again, if you're a run-heavy team, you're probably not going to spend a lot of time catching balls during Indy. That'll be something that you need to get knocked out during pre-practice, because you're going to need to, teach those guys, whatever, as far as the run game. So with this, what are we in the pass game? Next question is, what are we in the run game? Are we option? Are we a power team? Are we a zone team? Are we a combination? From there, that's why I script my teaching progressions and put emphasis on what you are. So, we were spread triple team. That's what we did. And they still do it now. As a spread triple team, I'm not going to be in Indy throwing a lot of balls to my guys. I'm not going to be in Indy working on a bunch of route running. I'm not going to be on Indy doing a bunch of cone drills. Why? Because my guys need to be learning to decipher when they need to arc block and when they need to strong block. Whenever I'm, single side run, I need to be working on cracking. These are the things that you have to cater your teaching to, is what you do or what style of offense you have. All right, so drill philosophy, again, going back to the mindset of planning with the end in mind. I need to only emphasize drills that apply directly to wide receiver role in the offense. Again, if my guys are primarily blockers, I don't need to throw a lot of balls and run a lot of cone drills in practice. We need to get after this blocking piece, making sure these guys can sit their hips, sit down, get in a power position, and block. Do not practice drills that do not directly correlate to what we're being asked to do on the field, even if it's a really good drill. I know guys get drills that, hey, man, this is my favorite drill. I love this right here, man. We work this every day. Well, if it doesn't have anything to do with your offense, what are you really, teaching your guys? What are they really getting out of it? How effective are you going to be at what you're required to do? All right, so the frequency of a drill should correspond directly to the relevance of the offense. Again, if we're a run-heavy team, we need to be blocking. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time catching balls. So a lot of our drills need to be based upon blocking. One of the good drills is Coach Smart at Georgia does is he calls the millennial Oklahoma drill, where those guys are blocking outside for the bubble screens and outside zone, and you got a safety coming down the field of alley, and you got a crack and fit on them. All those are really good drills for run game guys. Drills should be designed in a format that would enable your receivers to work several fundamentals during the course of a drill. Don't just work on the drill where those guys are working on releases. Let them work on the release. Let them work on the top of the route and get them a ball at the same time. That way you're working 3 different drills in one. Commands for drills should correspond with the offensive cadence, should be stopped by a whistle. You want those guys to be in a game situation as much as possible, even in practice. Start the drill with a ball movement. Stop it with a whistle, just like in the game. If a player is injured during the drill, then it may not be a good drill. I had a tough man drill that I did for 15 years. I had one kid one time to win the drill and fall down and break his wrist. Okay, hey, drill done. Probably won't do that drill ever again. So, if your drill is not productive, or you got kids getting hurt, or you probably not a good drill. Probably need to get rid of it. That's for insurance and liability purposes also. All right, so drill organization, planning with the end in mind again. Where are we located on the practice field? Again, if you're a big run-heavy team, you're a wide receiver coach, you probably got the corner. Probably got the back 10 yards of the football field. So how much room do I have? What drills can I get done in pre-practice or individual warm-up? If you're lucky enough to have pre-practice, this is the time for you to get your cone drills in. This is the time for you to get ball drills in. This is the time that you can be walking through whatever it is you need to get ready for during that day. Letting those guys see it again. They saw it on paper. Now you're letting them walk through it during. So that's a good way to plan. What equipment would I need? Do I need to pop up? Am I working releases on the pop up? Any of those things. Does my drill progression make sense for what I need to accomplish today? Again, if we're a run heavy team, I don't need to be throwing a lot of balls. And on the same hand, if we're run and shoot, I don't need to be blocking all day. So again, you got to cater to what you do. Do my players understand how I expect them to move during drills and from drill to drill? Coach them up on the drill in that pre-practice meet. Okay, hey, this is how I want you doing this. I want you to do this. If you have it on video, show it to them. I don't know what your rules are at practice, but I know Coach Davis, and I've always said it for years, hey, don't walk on the green grass. Don't walk on the green grass. Anytime you're on that field, you're running. Helmets on, buckled up, whatever. You got to teach those guys how to practice, because for a lot of these guys, especially inner city guys, all the guys I've ever worked with, and a lot of times the only structure that those guys have is getting into a daggone stretch line or getting into a drill line. So you got to coach those guys on how you want them to move from drill to drill and how you want them to react to things. All right, so flipping speed a little bit. I know I'm down to about 20 minutes. Try to get to some of these drills for you, and a little bit of video stuff. Jay, are there any questions? If not, I can go ahead and roll.
No, not right now, Coach.
Okay. All right, so everyday drills for wide receivers. You got stance starts, blocking, ball security, releases, ball skills, and breaking points. Okay, so daily practice focus, EDDs. Everybody call them everyday drills. Just because they're called everyday drills does not mean that the same drills have to be done every day. Those drills can be changed based on what needs to be emphasized. So again, if you're a team that, hey, we're working run game on Tuesday, then on Tuesday, your drill should fit the run game. It should fit the blocking piece. Same thing. Hey, we're working on half field reads today. Okay, so we need to be working on whatever routes we're running on that side today for those guys. Stance and start. You should do stance and start every day. Big discussion been going on with Coach Fury from the Chicago Bears. He had a thread going with stance and start. That's something you need to work every day. To me, blocking and ball security, whether you're a run-heavy team, pass-heavy team or not, blocking and ball security should be done every day. Releases, that's something that you can work pre-practice. Again, if you're a run-heavy team or if you don't have a lot of indie time. Ball skills, try to get those guys as many balls as possible. My man, Coach Grice, we talked at the clinic last year. I got the balls on the string. There's a bungee string. The kids hook it up to the fence. They get them 25 catches this week before pre-practice every day. 25 with no drops. You drop, you got to start back over. I increase it by 10 every week. And I got that. I can see the link to those balls. I'm not sponsored by Rydell or anybody, but I can see the link to them. It's a really great thing. Ball skills, like I said, and breaking points, working the top of the route. At some point, you need to work that. All right, so stance and start. Stance start be the most important technique that you would teach and work on every day. Every day, my guys, you came to any guys I ever coach and say, hey, what's the first thing Coach Porter's going to do? Stance and start. Find the line, man. Find the line. We work stance and start. The position, the wide receiver position is the speed position. Therefore, the stance must allow the fastest get off as possible without taking false steps. Even though the wide receiver stance is staggered, their base should still be shoulder width apart. Their front toe should be straight with with the back leg bent slightly. A lot of times you'll see kids. I would work camps, and you'll see guys their toes turned, their front toe turned in or turned out, and you ask them why, and they got all these weird. Hey, my coach said that I turned my foot in, I got better balance, and to me, with that, that just creates a false movement because before you can go forward, you got to turn your toe straight. All right, so if you go ahead and turn that toe straight now, that alleviates that. That the back leg should be bent slightly because the first thing those kids are going to do is they're going to drop their back leg to get going. So go ahead and bend it now so you're already down. It's I teach stance and start from the track stance. A lot of guys run track. Hey, get down in the blocks. Okay, stand up. Are you comfortable? Good. That's your stance. Now, when it comes to the arms, I give leeway to the receiver as what is most comfortable. If the guy, if he has free access, he has a free release, I don't care about your arms. Some of those kids put their arms on legs and cross them because they see Odell Beckham do it. I remember when I was in high school, the Florida State receivers would have their hands up like in a boxer stance. We were doing that because it looked cool. If it's off coverage, they got free access release, I can care less. As long as what I'm looking for is the movement. Are you false stepping? Are you pushing off that back leg and rolling off your front foot? Now, a lot of guys I saw in that post, hey, I teach my guys 80-20. I teach my guys, 85-15. I don't know what 80% of 225 pounds is, so I'm not even going to play that game. I just tell those guys, hey, most of your weight needs to be on your front leg. I can't tell you what 80% of your body weight looks like, but I can tell you that you should be able to get in your stance and lift your back leg up, not lean, wobble, and everything else. Position of the hands should be depend on comfort and whether they have a press DB. If they have a press defensive back, their hands need to be higher than defensive back hands. That's just a neighborhood fighting rule. If you're geared to fight somebody and his hands is higher than yours, your friends are probably gonna be picking you up off the ground. So it's to say, press is nothing but a fight. That's why I teach my guys. It's nothing but a fight. Your shoulder should be over your front knee. Your front knee should be over their front toe. I tell my guys all the time, if you're in your stance, I should be able to take a spear and stick it through your shoulder. It should go through your knee and through your foot. That tells me that you're aligned perfectly. You should have some bend and forward lean. The front toe should be straight, and the back leg should have a slight bend to it, and you drive off that back foot and roll off that front foot, no false steps. So some of the things that I would do for that is I would put the pop-up, I'll put not a pop-up, I'll put a step over between their legs, and hey, you got to pull that back leg over. Or I get down, I have a teammate to hold, not hold tight, but just give a little resistance to that back ankle and say, hey, you got to pull this through. And this way I know you're pulling it through. You're not rocking back. You're not stepping back. And like I said, that's something that we worked on daily. With releases, I know we had a question about releases earlier. Show me a guy who's afraid to look bad, and I'll show you a guy who you can beat every time. A defensive back's worst fear is to get beat Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and they have to jog off that field with the crowd booing, and all defensive coordinators wear their hat backwards and yell and whistle, and he got to run off to the sideline and see that guy, and that's worst case scenario for a defensive back. All right, so rule number 1 of releases: you win versus press coverage with your feet. All right, guys, want receivers to get in the weight room and bench 400 pounds, and hey, it doesn't matter if you bench 4 pounds or 400 pounds. You win versus press with your feet. You have to move guys off their spot. If you win the first 5 yards of the route, then you win the route. That's just my teaching. If you can win this first 5 yards, you won the route, period. The goal should always be to work half a man. The defense back is where you want him at. Leave him there. I call that, if it's broke, don't fix it. If you're trying to get an outside release and that guy's already inside, why run inside toward him? If he's already there, stay outside. But your goal is to work half a man. You're never going to get through the middle of a defensive back. So based on my, where I need to be at in the route concept, I'm picking which half of that defensive back I'm working. Okay, my aiming point is going to be to get my shoulder past his shoulder. Once I get my shoulder beyond his, then I've won. If the defensive back is where you want to go, you got to move him off your spot. You move him off his spot with your feet, not with your hands, not with strength. All right, be sure if you're facing press coverage, your hands are higher than the defender's hand. We just talked about that a minute ago. That's nothing but a boxer's rule. Releases continue. Whenever you break the huddle, break it with a plan. Understand the coverage, where the route concepts call for the receiver to be at. Again, once the receiver's shoulder clears the defensive back shoulders, he should stack them, looking to get back on top of his original alignment. All right, you get back on top of your original alignment. That way you're giving that quarterback that space, which is the next thing, run the red line. If you don't have one on your field, I advise you, if your coach won't lose his mind, or your AD, get some of that field paint and spray you a line 5 yards from the sideline and tell those guys, hey, this is the end line for you. You need to not go beyond this line in order to leave that quarterback space and drop the ball in for you. All right, so with a release, everything is a go route till it's not. You need to come off the ball full speed, 100 miles an hour, looking to get open. And it's a daggone go route until you hit your break point. So my break point is, 12 yards with this curl. For 11 yards, it's a go route. I'm 100 miles an hour, blazing down the field, and I throttle in and get into my break. All right, so running the red line. Here we go right here. This kid here, he was a freshman. This kid actually at all levels led the nation in yards per catch as a freshman, 33.6 yards per catch for anybody with a minimum of 20 catches. He led the nation. This is a bad example here of him getting too wide. His alignment is already too wide because he probably should be 2 yards back inside. But you'll see him outside release, get too wide, and not leave the quarterback space for the ball. So that, I told him, hey, that's a great catch, man. But I did this new study, and 100% of the balls caught out of bounds are incomplete. So that's doing me no good. Good catch though, but it does me no good. Here we're looking at this kid here. Perfect example running the red line. They actually had the yellow line here. This is Pitt's indoor facility. We had an opportunity to play a game at. Skip through a little bit, get to it. This kid does a great job running the red line, leaving space, makes a heck of a catch. Again, those guys are off, not pressing hard. just go. He's not going to touch you. I tell my guys all the time, if the defensive back walks down on you, if he's impressed and he doesn't put his hands on you, it's nothing but a race. He's going backwards, you're going forward. If you can't win, you probably can't play for me. We're up here with this guy. This is another good example of running the red line. Great catch, bad ball. That's what we do. We make bad balls into great catches. That's what you need to, force upon your guys. All right, so single and double move releases, just some coaching points. Single move, come to balance, fake opposite of where you want to go, and speed release. All right, so that's for a speed release. So speed release, if I want to get outside, if this guy is one that comes down and he's not aggressive, meaning he doesn't shoot his hands at me, then I don't want to make any move. I just want to go outside right now, dip my inside shoulder like I'm grabbing grass, and keep going. And what I would do for that is I'd put a pop-up there. And I tell those guys, okay, hey, he's non-aggressive. I got to pop up about 2 yards off. They're in their stance. They release outside, dipping their shoulder, and grabbing grass. And just another thing, going back to stance, now that I'm talking about that, I'm not a big inside-outside foot guy. To me, this is just, again, my personal philosophy, my belief, you got to do what's best for your guys. To me, the foot that's up doesn't matter unless it's quick game. Now, if your passing scheme is based on steps, then inside-outside foot matters. But if your passing game has quick game, which is 3-4 routes, and everything else is yards, to me it doesn't matter on which foot is up unless it's a quick game route. Then, hey, you got 3-step slant. Okay, well, that's built off of your inside foot being up. So on that, your inside foot would need to be up. Now, I tell my guys, switch your feet. Switch your feet. If it's a run game, every play, switch your feet. It doesn't matter. I can care less. But I'm not a big inside-outside foot guy. To me, it depends on what type of release and where you're trying to get. So if I need my outside foot up because I'm trying to step inside to move him off his spot, then, switch feet. I can care less. That's just my teaching. Double move, come to balance, fake where you want to go first, then jab opposite and get back vertical after your release. So if I'm trying to get inside, to me, this is me. I had my outside foot back. I'm going to step inside because most defensive backs are going to give you that first move. At that point, when you step back out is when he's going to shoot that inside hand. At that point, that's where you're teaching your guys with his inside arm, grab that elbow, pull him through, dip shoulder, grab grass, get back upfield, get vertical, and back on top of your alignment. All right, so shorten your stagger and widen your base a little bit. Some guys, whenever they used to off coverage, they'll get lax in their stance. They'll be a little elongated. I tell them to tighten it up just a little bit so you can come to back. It doesn't take you as long to get your back leg forward to come to balance. And then get back on track, no false steps. All right, so cover 2 releases. I know run low on time, about almost at the hour mark. Press the defensive back outside shoulder to the point of no return. If the defensive back lets you go outside, take the outside release. Everything for us, we told our guys, hey, cover 2, outside guy, you take an outside release because we don't need him to get his eyes to number 2. All right, you take the outside release. If he lets you go, great. You're probably going to get that hole shot. You're probably going to get the ball on the line right now. Now, in high school and college, it's a little different because that hole shot has to come a lot quicker at the college level than it does the high school level, depending on, who you're playing and, the level of competition. Now, I know some good ball everywhere, so, that kind of changes. If you press the DB's outside shoulder and he continues to widen, you can slip back inside as long as you do not come back inside of your original alignment, working back for width. All right, so I'm running at his outside shoulder. If he shuffles out, then I stick my foot, I dip back inside, dipping that shoulder closer to him so he don't have a target area to punch, and I get vertical. All right, so release drills. The number one release drill is actually going against live press. High school level, a lot of times the receiver coach is the defensive back coach. Even if he's not, you grab that guy pre-practice, say, hey, man, let's get a little bit of release work before practice. I would set up cones, give them a box, a 3-yard box, and say, hey, you need to win inside of this box. You got 3 yards side to side to win versus press. Anything more than 3 yards, you're completely off track of where you're supposed to be for your route. So that's the first thing I do. My first press drill will be against, well, not the first, but the best press drill will be against live press, going against those guys. When you got receivers and you kind of splitting the line and got them, they're not going to give it all unless they're actually a defensive back. So you want to get that practice against them as much as possible. All right, hand-to-hand combat with the pads. Me having the arm shields and I'm, punching him and he's grabbing elbow, clubbing down, ripping up, those things. The pop-up bag, I just told you that, I'm working on speed releases, double move releases, single jab releases, and those type of things. Low hand, high hand, I got that guy that's running, the DB that's running with my receiver, and he want to put his hands on the shoulder. I just work on high hand and clubbing up. You got the guy that want to grab jersey down, work on clubbing down. But you want those guys to concentrate on actually working the route versus trying to get hands off, because they get out of their route when they're doing that. The diamond and squirt release versus bags. I know the diamond and squirt release has become popular with the slants running out, coming back up under. We work that. And then we work on secondary releases once we get into the linebackers on the bags. We'll move those bags around. All right, so this one, perfect example of the club. Now, everybody, not going to have this guy on your team who's this big and strong, but this is a perfect example. And this is the clip that I, show my guys. We're down here. I know the score kind of blocked us on the speed ahead so we can get a good look at it. Everybody's not Metcalf. Everybody's not that huge. But if you watch here, he really, he gets a great club on that hand once he punches. And this really what opens him up here. Club right there. That's a really good club. Bam. Bam, right here. Really good club. And once you club that guy, and this goes back to the old rules, I know every receiver coach teaches, if you get a guy's wrist, he can recover. But if you get that elbow or anything a little bit higher, he's dead in the water. Let me see. I get back to it one more time. I just want you to see that club, man. I get excited when I see this. I love aggressive receiver. Not dirty, but aggressive. Bam. And, here he's dead in the water, especially with no help over the top. Like I said, that's a DB's worst case scenario. All right, so here, we're here with this guy. He's able to get a good grab on his elbow with a double move. Boom, boom, outside. Go. Same thing, just going back. Boom. If you look, he, grabs that outside arm with a club. And he punches through the face with that left arm. So if you look at his left arm is what punches through the face, and that his right arm is what's grabbing the defender's left elbow and pulling them through. And again, that was my freshman. So, a lot of work went in with him getting to campus, getting him prepared. All right, diamond squirt release, sell the fade to run the slant, press the DB's leverage, sell him vertical, keeping his hips in your hip, put your inside hand on his lower back, which I call it the friend zone. That's where you want to, when you out on your date, you don't want to show the girls you're too nasty yet. That lower back area, right above the butt, but right below the middle of the back. And you come back underneath flat. We're up here. This is a really great one here. I want to get to it in slow motion so you can really see it. He did a really great job there. Selling outside and coming back up under. And like I said, this is what I show my guys. These are the kind of clips I'll find games and I'll record it just to show them. I send it to them on a text message just to let those guys see it. And I'm gonna let you see it in slow motion. Bam. And it's the same thing. We'll work the bag. So I put a bag outside. I have those guys to run outside. Boom. Plant that foot. club it, come back up under. All right, so that's a really good job that he did on that one. All right, here, got a guy. He's going to basically do the same, similar. Outside, this is a post. Ball's late. Press him outside. Grab that arm here. Come back up under. Good catch for a freshman. Good release for a freshman. Outside, this kid was, he was a really special kid. Was not tough at all. So if you was a guy that wanted somebody to be extremely tough, it was not him. But he made plays. He made plays. He learned the offense. He made plays. Again, grab that arm here. Back up under. All right, so blocking. I know getting low on time, Jado, I got about maybe 10 more minutes, I guess.
Yes, sir. About 5-10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes, Coach. You good?
Can you hear me, Justin?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
All right, I'm gonna keep rolling. Blocking. So blocking is all about effort and want to. I tell those guys all the time, this is something that you have to want to do. It does not take any ability to block. It's effort and want to. All receivers must understand that blocking is non-negotiable. If you don't block, then you don't play. And going back to my freshman, I just said he wasn't extremely tough. He had to learn that early. If you don't block, you don't play it. You know, at his high school, he wasn't asked to block. He was asked to catch the ball and make a play. So, you know, he had to learn quick. And, you know, the veteran guys told him, hey, man, if you don't block, you're not going to play, man. Coach Porter's not going to play you. So he got that early. Some type of blocking drill should be done every day. The amount that is done depends on your offensive scheme. Again, if you're run heavy, you need to be blocking every day. If you're pass happy, you probably should block for 1 5-minute period. All right, some of the blocking drills come to balance. I get the boards like the lineman work. And, you know, I have my guy start off in the stance about 3 yards from it. He comes to it. He breaks down. You know, he shuffles over the board. Got a receiver at the back with the pad. He makes contact with the pad, runs his feet on the whistle. He drives, and then he stops. Mirror drill. I know everybody does a mirror drill. You just getting in front of them, you know, sliding, making sure you're not clicking your heels, not crossing your feet. You got to be sitting down, sitting with your butt low, like a basketball defense stance, and you're shuffling. All right, grab and fight. For grab and fight, I would have my guys to go ahead and grab each other inside of their pads, in the breastplate, and you're working to try to get your butt and create an alley for that running back to have. You're working, and you'll see some clips of this. And then push crack, I got a couple clips of this also. This is where your single side run game, you're fitting on the safety, and you're leaving an H-back or fullback on that cornerback. All right, so come to balance, you explode off the ball, begin to lower your pad level, creating a good base, buzzing your feet with a flat back. You shoot your hands into the pads or to the chest area, and on the whistle, you run your feet. So that's basically what we're doing with that one. Like I said, I use the boards that, you know, for the board drills that the linemen use. I'd steal them and run from the lineman and lineman coach, and we use those. All right, the mirror, you always stay on the inside peg of the defender. His inside foot should split the receiver's crotch. The wide receiver should sink his hips, creating a solid base. It's just like power cleaning. Hips and hands should shoot together, simulating power clean. All right, so we're here. These two guys did a pretty good job here. And again, this is my freshman, not very tough. So you got both. You got a grab and fight going on here. You got a mirror here. So, you know, my rule was always at the whistle, you need to be between your man and the ball. If you're between your man and the ball, then that's a block. If you're not, then that's a loaf, and you're gonna pay for that. All right. Here we're down here. This kid here probably blocked. These times you're gonna see him on the clip. Probably the only times he blocked in 4 years. But run them off. At some point, you got to make contact. Just enough for him to get by. I told him, you know, if you can get in his way or he beats your butt during the play, then that's a block. Here, this is, you know, blocking for a screen. This was an X block. for a screen, which some of you guys probably already do it. Fight, grab and fight, and trying to stay in between, putting your butt there, creating an alley for the receiver or the ball carrier. Here, another one, blocking for a screen again. Got the bubble going. Create an alley with your butt. Get in the way of the guy. If he's whooping your behind during that process, then you won. All right. All right, so grab and fight. This drill starts at the initial contact with the DB hand should be in the inside frame of the defender's frame, grabbing the breastplate. As the defender fights to get free, you're fighting to stay in the framework of his body, giving a two-way go for the ball carrier. All right, so again, this one is here. This is the clip we looked at earlier, but this one is the one we're focusing on. He's grabbing and fighting, trying to stay. Back probably should have went outside. But hey, you know, all you can ask your guys to do is block. Can't coach the running backs too. All right. Here's one here. This guy here, another grab and fight. He's gonna, you know, shoot his hands first to get inside. His hands is higher than defensive back hands. Okay, no, this is the run off and grab. Okay, we've seen that one. But he grabbed, fighting there to get inside. Let me go to another one. We saw that one too. That was another grab and fight on that one. That one also we seen. All right, so push crack. Push crack, this is used on the split end, open side run plays. The drill will have two defenders, one playing cornerback, one playing safety. The coach located behind the receiver will give the defensive back the direction as to which one would drop, which one would play the run. It's the wide receiver's job to make a read and block the most dangerous defender. All right, so here's a push crack. This guy here, they played their safeties really low, so he had to get there now. And he probably, you know, from that week, I told him, you know, you don't need to take too many steps forward, which he did it anyway. Again, one of those kids that you tell him to do something, he give you a thumbs up and does the exact opposite. But, you know, he got in, he made the fit, lead it back on the corner, off to the races. Another push crack here, same thing. They played their guy low, trying to get into the run game. I told him, you know, you need to go now. Didn't do it. Went upfield, made the block though, and off again. All right. Trying to get through these things now, Justin. You know, I know time running low.
You good, coach.
All right, so break points. What we got? Go ahead.
No, you can't hear me? I don't think you can hear me.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Break points. As a receiver reaches the break point, his eyes should stay up on the DB. His arms should remain pumping. One of the biggest mistakes that occurs here is that the receiver often gives an indicator to the DB that something's about to happen. As the receiver goes into his break, he should drop his hips in a sitting motion to take his chest to his knees. The wide receiver arms and feet should mirror each other. The speed in which the receiver gets out of his break is more important than the speed of the route stem. The goal is to get in and out of his break in 2 to 3 steps. The receiver should plant off his outside foot, exploding back to the ball. The receiver's head should be attached to his plant foot, meaning once he sticks his plant foot into the ground, he should immediately take his head and eyes to the ball. All right, so some of the drills I work with break points. The M drill, I know everybody does the M drill. A ladder drill with the cones, I kind of set up almost like it's almost like a little box where they're running. You know, you get a outside break and an inside break. Burst and tap, this is just, you know, the guy bursting up to the cone, dropping his hips, tapping the top of it, backpedaling out. Burst back forward, tap the cone, backpedal out. The box drill, which everybody works. Red light, green light, which Coach Keith Williams made popular. With the guys, you know, sprinting full speed, you tell them to stop, they're throttling down and pick back up. You yell stop again, they're throttling down again. And throw by, which is what I call friend zoning them again. You're running side by side, put your hand on the lower back, you throw them by, and you get back to the ball. Lean and burst, same thing. You got partner drill, they're running together. I use my leverage from my body to push and get out. And then working top of the route. No guys work that also. This is the throw by, which Jerry Judy clubbed the crap out of this guy. You get those guys leaning off balance, easy throw by. Now, is everybody gonna have a Jerry Judy? Absolutely not. I know I didn't, but you know that's a great technique, regardless of who the player is. All right, here, this would be the lean. This is Odell. Again, I use a lot of these clips to show my guys. This is him leaning into that guy, using his body leverage. See if I can get a stop point. Right here, leaning here, using his leverage. Back inside. All right, back inside, wide open. All right, here's another one. That's called, getting to that back shoulder. I tell my guy, get to that blind shoulder. If you get to that blind shoulder, and the blind shoulder is here, it's that shoulder, at what point he has to turn his head away from the quarterback to find you, that's the blind shoulder. And that's your goal in one-on-one to get to. You want to get there. When you get there, he's dead in the water. Now, Janoris Jenkins, I think everybody beat him. I probably beat him a couple times this year. But if you get to that blind shoulder, that's really tough. Ball skills, this will be, I only a couple left. I think I might be finishing up pretty quick here. I know Justin needs time to get set up for the next one. Ball skills, I like this picture because this is hands. This is eyes seeing the ball through his hands. Perfect. Eyes seeing the ball through his hands. Attack the ball. And this next video, I show my guys all the time. This is Julio in the Super Bowl. This is the meaning of attacking the ball. Now that's a man's catch. That's just, the ball in the air is my ball because it wasn't the best throw. It's my ball and I'm going to get it. That's what this is an example of. My ball, I'm going to get it. All right, but rule number one of catching the football, you'll find the football with your eyes before you ever catch it with your hands. Catch the ball with your hands whenever possible. It's understandable that body catches do happen in traffic. From my experience, 75 to 80% of drop passes come from bad hand placement and or lack of concentration. Bottom line, just catch the ball no matter what. Now, ball skills, with me, I am the absolute tennis ball police. I hate tennis balls. Why? Because if I am a NASCAR driver, I don't go to the go-kart range to go practice for a race. The same thing with me. If I want to get better at catching footballs, I catch footballs. I can develop hand and eye concentration by catching a football. So the line drill, I had a guy to come straight at me, give him a throw. I have him come by the side, get him another throw. I throw him a high ball where they have to go up with two hands, make a catch. If you stick one hand up at the ball, I lose my mind. The reason why, anytime a ball is thrown and you stick one hand up with it, if you don't catch it, that ball usually skips up into the air and is picked off. Then they get a ball at their back hip where they have to rotate their hips, pivot, and make a catch. I have deep ball, have to show late hands, throw the ball down the field, last minute hands up for the ball. The ground ball, I have them lay on their back. I throw the ball at them. They got to use all hands to catch it. You can't use your body. That's the good part about that drill. High point, I throw the ball. They got to jump, make a catch, and turn the ball away from the defender and put it away as quick as possible. That's for your jump ball guys. And the towel pull, I have two guys. One standing there trying to make the catch. The other guy has a towel wrapped around his arm, and he's kind of tugging a little to give a little resistance. He's not trying to pull it all the way down to hurt him or pull it all the way down where he can't make the catch, but give it a little resistance to kind of mimic a defensive back pulling on your arm trying to make the catch. And then partner distraction, I have two guys running together, one of them pulling your jersey and slapping at your arm, and you still got to make the catch during all of that process. All right, ball security. Ball security is job security for the player and the coach. The ball should be tucked immediately after catch. Catch, tuck, tight turn, exploding up the field in whichever direction the catch takes you. Ball should be high and tight at all times to avoid a BIJ. That's what I call a ball in jeopardy. The ball should remain higher than your elbow at all times. The ball should be held high and tight against your body, reducing the open space between your elbow and your body. There should be a slight tilt of the ball against your chest, reducing the chances of the ball being ripped out. 2 hands should be on the ball at all times while there's a threat of contact. And just my philosophical belief, but I believe the ball should be tucked in the strong arm, which I know is against the grain. Let me explain that to you. So when I say that, I know guys always talk, put the ball in your outside arm, put the ball in your outside arm. But again, defensive back coaches are getting a lot smarter and they're teaching a lot better. So if you have that ball tucked in your outside arm, and that outside arm is not your strong arm, and that guy comes behind you and punches it, that ball will go back into the field of play where it's easy to be recovered by that guy who has the angle or the trail guy running behind you. If that ball is your inside arm or your strong arm, I know I'm right-handed, so if I'm running on the left side, my strong arm is my right arm, and they punch that ball, it's going to go out of bounds, more than likely, because they're punching at an angle. So that's just my belief. Again, you do what's best for you and what you know. Again, I don't know everything. I just know from my experience. All right, so ball security drills, punch and rip drill with the DBs. This is a good drill for defensive backs. Again, if you're a defensive back coach, this is number turnover circuit. The receiver has the ball tucked high and tight. The defensive back's behind him, grabs his jersey, and he got 2 punches and 2 rips to try to get the ball out. I put a little push-up, so up-downs on the line. You know, if you get the ball out, the receiver got the push-ups, the up-downs. If you don't get the ball out, then you got it. The catch gauntlet, we'll set up the gauntlet. You know, everybody's done that. You catch the ball, you run through, you got guys swiping at the ball. Catch and puncher, we'll set up 2 receivers with dummies. You run your route, break down in front of the dummies, catch the ball, you tight turn between them, and they're hitting you, trying to get the ball out. Stagger gauntlet, we have guys lined up, you make a catch, guy sticks a pad out, you club it, another guy stick a pad out, you rip it, another guy sticks a pad out, you stiff arm it. The main thing I'm looking at during that drill is I'm looking at the ball to see if you're swinging it while you're clubbing or ripping, or if you got it high against your body and tight. All right, so that's it, guys. That's all I got for you. Like I said, I appreciate this opportunity Justin gave me. I know I kind of got long, went a little bit long, but anything that I have, coverage sheets, the pictures, the presentation as a whole, I'll be more than happy to send to you. You can inbox me on Twitter at Coach Porter WR, or you can email me, Coach David Porter at gmail.com. You can send it there. You can shoot me an email, and I'll be glad to see anything that I have. I appreciate you guys' time early this morning, man. Like I said, please feel free to reach out at any point to talk ball. I'll be more than happy. Thank you. Appreciate you, Justin.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Coach. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Just like the rest of them, man, this one will be up on the drive later. So just make sure, you tune in later. If, I know some people came in late. So just hit the drive later. The link is in my Twitter profile. So you're good to go there.